Hi, this is Billy Staples, and I'm the author of the new baseball book, Before the Glory. And we're in Minnesota doing the pregame show for the Twins with FSN. And today's guest is Justin Morneau. And for the kids and baseball fans out there that are listening, Justin's one of the chapters in the book, Before the Glory, which keys in on baseball players in their childhoods. 10 of the chapters are Hall of Famers and their childhoods, including Tony Gwynn, this year's induction. But we also got a lot of current players in the book. And it just so happens that Justin Morneau is one of the 4 or 5 chapters of guys that are playing today. Justin, when you first heard of a book that was about baseball, but just about childhoods, so that school kids and baseball fans could read something different, what did you first think?
I thought it was a pretty good idea, and obviously I was the last chapter put in, so I was once I heard the guys that were in it, and I could be part of something that special, and then hearing that it's going to be in schools and all that kind of stuff, it was a no-brainer for me to want to do it.
If I could ask Justin a question that he hasn't been asked over the interviews that we've been doing for the last 2 or 3 days, he had everybody gets their first car. There's everybody in high school that gets their first car. And one of the funnier stories is the reputation that Justin's car had. His car had a name. His friends knew the name of the car. And what can you tell me about that first car, Justin?
It was, we called it White Lightning. It was '83 Dodge K-car station wagon. It didn't have an oil change the entire time I had it because it was so bad on oil. You just put in, a few liters of oil every couple days, and then it was just like it had an oil change. And it was something that lasted a long time, and it was great. Great first car to have, and it got passed down from my mom, and then my dad bought it from my mom, and then my dad gave it to my brother, and then I ended up with it, and then that's just how it goes, and that's just some of the stuff that's in the book. Just stories about growing up and what it was like, and it was fun to do something a little different.
Where is White Lightning now? Do you have any idea?
Oh, I don't know. I think one of my uncles had it and had the brakes redone and some other stuff redone. So it might still be around. I'm not sure.
If I could ask another good question from the book, Justin and his brother one day came home and decided to play catch, which lots of brothers and lots of friends do. But Justin did something different that day. The ball that he grabbed to play catch with his brother was his dad's prized possession, and that was his autographed Mickey Mantle baseball. So his dad eventually came home and saw that the Mickey Mantle baseball was a little bit different. Could you give me that story in summary, please?
He actually caught us when we were still playing catch with it, but it was we just saw a ball sitting there on the shelf. We couldn't find one, so we decided to use that one, and I think it hit the ground a few times, and we got in a lot of trouble for that one. We got set in the house. We were still pretty young when that happened, so he couldn't get too mad at us, but. I was actually, for Christmas this year, I was able to get him a new Mickey Mantle ball, which was a pretty big deal for me to be able to do that. And he still has the old one, actually. It still has some grass stains on it, and the signature's a little faded. But we replaced the new one with it. So it's one of those funny stories.
Also, I'd like to say the magnitude of Justin Morneau. We were doing media in Ohio before we came to Minnesota for the book. And we were doing media with Fergie Jenkins. And Fergie asked, "Where are you going next, Billy?" And I said, "I'm going to Minnesota to do media for Justin Morneau." And Fergie, who's a Hall of Famer, struck out over 3,000 guys, had a lot of great 21 seasons with the Cubs. What does he say? He says, "Billy, do you mind asking Justin to sign a picture for me when you get to Minnesota?" So even though Justin is good to his family, a good brother, a good son, a good player, he's an all-around good guy. And although we see him on the field and read about him in the papers, that's what I got out of the chapter. It's hard to understand how tight their world has to be, how they're busy. But I will say one thing about Justin Morneau. That Oliva Killebrew tradition in Minnesota, he's proud to carry the flag. If I asked one last question, it was interesting. Each chapter is broken into 2, Before and the Glory. And Justin's glory is so short-lived that we had to dig. But when he came to Minnesota, he lived with this guy named Joe for a little bit, and so they got to be friends. So when you first came to this town, who did you live with, and how was it?
Oh, when I first lived here, I wasn't with Joe yet, but he kind of took me under his wing a little bit. Even though he's younger than I am, I got to stay with him, and I think everybody kind of knows what happened after that. But it was a good move, and now I got my own place. But Joe was we still ride to the field every day, and it's a good place to be. I love playing in Minnesota, and hopefully I can stay here for a long time.
I find it interesting that 2 guys that hang together when they're really young, Joe Mauer and Justin Morneau, one leads the league in hitting, the other one wins the MVP. The Twins got a bright future this year, and I hope to be back here in September, October to play catch-up with Before the Glory and Justin Morneau. Thanks a lot for your time, and I appreciate all the FSN listeners watching today. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
How'd I do?